Good afternoon. I wanted to go ahead and show you guys a little bit about SPSS this morning. So I've got my screen up. I'm actually going to show you how to do this from Blackboard. And last week we started to look at data sets. So I'm going to come in here, our project data sets. Some of you had a hard time with getting portable files to become SPSS files. And so when we go here, we can pick what format we want our stuff to download in. We have SAS, SPSS, data, AST2, all of these files. So you need to pick if you want wave 1 or wave 2. And the study description is all here, what the scope of the study is, when it was collected. All of this is information about the data set. So when you click on SPSS, it's going to open up. I logged in via Facebook. It's just easier since I have a Facebook account. And it comes down here, it opens as a zip file. So you have to find a way to extract it and pull it out. And then once it's extracted, you need to tell it to save to your desktop. And usually where I find that is in my downloads. So I had it all, I don't want to save it again because I already have it on my desktop to show you guys, but it'll be in your downloads. So once you do that, you need to close up this part and it will come up as a file like this. These are all description citations, which you should probably go into. It'll kind of tell you what all has been done with the data and what all articles have been published and kind of what everybody's looked at. They also have a related literature text, and that also will point you in the literature. Your user guide is actually your code book. Once you're in here, I'm going to open it. Here is a code book as well, the questionnaire they actually used, and then the data. And you see how it says data.por. SPSS is not going to know to open that. And so what I do to get it to open is I come here and I actually have to go into my SPSS. My computer's a little bit different because it's a Mac. And so I have to scroll over here, get my SPSS, go ahead and open it up. It takes a second, so don't be alarmed. And while it's opening, this could take a minute. SPSS can be kind of slow. So what you're going to do is you're going to click open another file. You can see I've already opened this one, but I'm going to show you guys how to walk through it. So open another file, and instead of an SPSS file, we're going to tell it to open the .por file. And here it is, .por, .w. These are all other data forms. And once I do that, I can actually see it in here. And there's our portable data file. We're going to open it, and it's going to take a minute. So here is our actual data. This side, there's a toggle down here, data view, variable view. Our variable view will match up with our code book. Right here are all the different variables. This is the kind of variable it is with decimals. The label is what's important, the label and values. So they've done a really good job, and they have this listed out. Somebody had to go in and put all this in. So question 2, at the present time, what is your religious preference? And when you open it, these are called the values. So anybody that said that they were Scientology got a number 7. Anybody who said they were Hindu got a number 6. Anybody who said that they were Buddhist got a number 5, and so on and so forth. 95 is no answer, 98 is not sure, 99 they declined. And so what we'll have to do for this question, if we were to choose it, is we probably have to go in and check and see how many people answered what things and recode this a little bit to make it easier to interpret. But we'll talk about that a little bit later, just so you guys kind of have a rough idea of what's in here. So do you consider this to be part of the Christian faith? And no is a 2, yes is a 1. So these are actual boxes that they checked that were given a value here. We can see what their missing values were, how many columns they had, and the measurement scale. Remember nominal, ordinal, interval ratio? Nominal and ordinal are here, or it will say scale. And scale or interval ratio or they have more than 7 values. There's a couple ways to do that. Sometimes they're not right. SPSS is kind of guessing, and if the person who collects the data doesn't change it, then it kind of stays that way. On the other hand, we have the data view, and the data view looks a lot like Excel or more other programs that you're familiar with. The variables are listed across the top. The participant's ID, whatever this was. Question 2, this was the one I just showed you guys. Question 3, question 4. When you're looking at data, this way is how everybody answered. This is how person 1 answered all of the questions. These questions that have nothing next to them means the data are missing. So we need to be very aware kind of what that means. Some of those might be skip questions, some of those, but you need to understand what those are when you're picking out your variables. The rest of these will almost always be just numbers. And to find out what those numbers mean, we either need the code book or we need to go back to the variable view and check it out and see what those numbers mean. Once you have this here, before you do anything with your data, you should come up here and do a save as, because you want to save it. See how it's now saving in SPSS? Title it something that you would want to keep. This is going to save in that data file, but you want to save it as an SPSS. This way, when you go back to it and you save it this way, you won't have to go through all of those steps again. You'll just need to reopen it from where you are. So now it's saved in here, and it's saved as my data. So you can actually click on it and SPSS will open it instead of this way where it took all those steps to get that portable file to open. So that is how you open and use SPSS. I don't want to talk about data analysis yet. I just want to talk a little bit about what it was and how we look at these things and what they mean. When I say all of these questions, I mean these are all of the variables that we could choose. You need to have a variable that is your dependent variable, and then you need to have some variables that are your independent variables once you pick a data set. And we can talk about your questions and how best to answer those using the information that's contained in these surveys. But right now, you all need to go in, look at your surveys, open your data, see what's available, and then really start picking out what you want to do. And I'm available to help with that once you've identified a data set and kind of a direction that you want to go. These are really large data sets, most of them. I can show you how to recode so that you know which questions you want and what variables should look like, and so that you're not using all of these. We can limit data. We can limit data by participant. There's a lot of stuff that we can do with these data sets, and I'll absolutely tell you if it's possible or not. So that is the first video just on SPSS and what it does.